Hi, my name's Andy Rosico, and I'm here with...
Eric Willison, and we are two Ohio attorneys who are pretty well versed with the laws of eviction in the state of Ohio. We're going to be taking you through the chronology of a typical eviction in Ohio.
So our basic question is, how long does the eviction process take? Generally, it takes about 4 to 5 weeks in Ohio. It depends upon what county you're in. To start off the eviction process, we have to post a 3-day notice on the door. Eric, could you tell us a little bit about the 3-day notice?
Yes, once the tenant has either violated the terms of the lease or the tenant's right to be there has otherwise terminated, let's say perhaps their lease has run out, then the landlord has to post a 3-day notice to vacate. Now you have to be careful about which notice that you post, because the law in Ohio requires that certain mandatory language be in that notice. So make sure that you get one, hopefully from our website, which will use the exact appropriate terminology. If you don't, your eviction action could be dismissed very early on. Once you've posted the 3-day notice, it's important to look at the timing of the notice. It's not just 3 calendar days that you have to wait. It's 3 days that the court is open. So that means holidays and weekends don't count, and also it's important to know that the day that you post the eviction does not count as day one. Day one doesn't start till the next day.
So the first step is posting the 3-day notice. After the 3-day notice has expired, then you can go to court and file an eviction complaint. It's important to note that the 3-day notice must have expired completely before you file the complaint. Otherwise, your eviction action could be dismissed and you have to start all over again. So you go to court, you file the eviction complaint, you pay the filing fee, generally about $130 depending on the county that you're in. From that point, a hearing will be scheduled 2 to 3 weeks out. So 2 to 3 weeks after you filed the complaint, then a hearing is scheduled. You will attend the hearing at the scheduled date. There's a chance that the hearing could be postponed by the tenant. Most often, that postponement is no longer than a week. Once you've gotten your eviction at the hearing, then you need to proceed in getting a red tag, or what's otherwise known as a writ of restitution.
If the magistrate does decide in your favor, or if the judge does decide in your favor, then you need to apply for what's called a writ of restitution. In Franklin County, it's also called a red tag because it looks like a red parking ticket. Once the writ of restitution is issued, the bailiff will take it out the next day or the day after that and will post it on the door of the rented premises. It will inform the tenant that they have a certain amount of time to get out. Now here in Franklin County, that's 5 days. Other places can be a little bit longer, other places can be a little bit shorter, but generally it's about a week or a week and a half. Once the writ of restitution, the days therein have expired, now it's important to note that is 5 calendar days. Once those 5 calendar days have expired and the tenant is still in there and still in possession of the premises, then at that point you need to go and apply for what's called a precipice for a set-out.
Generally, I found that once a red tag is posted, about 95% or so of tenants leave at that point. They move out when the red tag is posted, and you'll run into some cases where the tenants continue to stay on after the red tag is posted and after the red tag has expired. At that point, you need to apply for a set-out with the court. As with the red tag, the set-out requires a fee as well. In Franklin County, currently the red tag fee is $35, the set-out fee is $45. If you go ahead and pay for both at once and don't need the set-out, the court is not going to refund your $45 for the set-out fee. Once you've applied and paid for the set-out, then you need to call the bailiff. Here in Franklin County, you call the bailiff between 8 a.m. and 9:30 a.m., that hour-and-a-half window, to schedule a set-out with the bailiff. The bailiff will put you on the calendar, and at that specific time and date, you need to meet the bailiff at the premises with a total of 4 people to move the tenant's belongings out to the curb. You will also need boxes, bags, and tarps if there's the threat of rain. The bailiff will not help you move the tenant out. The bailiff will only supervise the set-out. Your people will move the tenant out. You will also want to have a locksmith on hand to change the locks so that the tenant just doesn't move right back in after everybody's left. That's generally the set-out process.
And it is important, as Andy said, to have at least 4 people there, because the bailiff is only going to stay around for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. He's not going to stand there all day while you move one cardboard box out at a time. You need to have the tenant out so that the bailiff can move on to his next eviction. He's there to maintain order. If the tenant still refuses to leave or causes a problem, then the bailiff will either escort the tenant off the premises or will summon the deputy sheriffs to come and do that for him. Once the locksmith has changed the locks, that is the whole of the eviction process. That's how you get back possession of the premises in Ohio. It's very important to go through the statutory process because if you just go and change the locks without going through the statutory process, you can run afoul of the Ohio Revised Code's 5321.15, which prevents what are called self-help evictions.
That's generally the eviction process in a nutshell. We've tried to cover as much of it as we could in this short time period. Your situation may vary. If that's the case, you should always consult with a lawyer. We also have a product on our website for sale, the Landlord's Guide to the Ohio Eviction Process, which goes into even more detail than the short time we've spent in this video discussing the matter.
And it provides you with forms and sample filings that you can use, and many people have found those very helpful.
So consider that in your eviction process, and we hope we've helped you out.